So the kind of forgiveness that I'm talking about doesn't just apply to relationships. It certainly does apply to relationships, but it also applies to situations, that you find yourself in, events that you see on television. A Course in Miracles says, I am never upset for the reason I think. So I used to think that I was upset because I had to get up and speak in front of these people. But that's not what I was really upset about at all. I was actually upset about something that can be traced all the way back to this original idea of being separate from God and this unconscious guilt that's associated with that. That's why A Course in Miracles teaches that the last obstacle to peace is the fear of God. Most people wouldn't believe that they're afraid of God, but in their unconscious mind, they are. And that's what the fear of death is also related to. It all has to do with that. And then we look out into the world and we've made up a substitute reason that we're afraid. Oh, so now I think I'm afraid because the terrorists are going to blow up my airplane, or because I have to get up and speak in front of these people, or because I'm not going to have enough money for my retirement. But that's not that's not the reason that I'm really upset. The reason that I'm really upset can be traced all the way back to this idea of being separate from God. And if I could undo that separation in the mind, then all these other problems would disappear too, all these other fears would disappear, and it would be possible to go through life totally fearless, which is our natural destiny. There's no reason to be afraid of anything. Once you realize that what you were really afraid of was God, then you can start to realize how erroneous that is, because God really is perfect love, even though the world certainly doesn't think of it that way. God really is perfect love, and all God wants to do is love us. And then we made up this wrathful and vengeful God that was really made in our image in order to project that fear onto God, when the truth is it's our own fear. We made it up, and as A Course in Miracles would describe it, it's a delusional system that needs to be undone. I want everyone to know that God is love, and God really is love. God is really perfect love, and all God wants to do is love you. So God is not anything to be afraid of, not anything to ever worry about. The one thing that you don't have to worry about is God, because all God that will ever do for you is exactly the same thing. All God will ever do is love you, and that's all that he wants to do, or that she wants to do, because God is not really a he or a she. That's just what we adults call metaphor, which means it's just a word that we use that doesn't really mean anything. That's because God is all-encompassing.